welcome to another fabulous episode of Trailblazers Rising. I am smiling ear to ear because I have a new soul friend that I have met and that I'm bringing to you all, so you're welcome in advance. Today, I have on Emma Heywood, who is a fabulous, multifaceted, incredible service provider who works with high performers by optimizing their subconscious mind. So this applies to every single person watching right now. So Emma, before I destroy it, just tell everybody who you are and why they should love you.
Oh, I so appreciate that intro. Who I am and why you should love me. I think I'll start with why you should love me is because I am on the journey with you. I tell all my clients the healing journey is never going to end. We may be on different steps of the ladder. I might be on step 57, you're on 13, doesn't make me better or worse, but I'm forever on the journey with you. So everything I guide you through, I help you with, I experience. And I think it's important to say that because I'm not perfect. None of us are perfect. We're all just trying to figure out this thing called life and heal. And especially in my practice, as a performance mindset coach, I used to be a performer myself. I used to be an actor. I'm a classically trained actor. So I say to my performer clients, I know what it's like. And as an entrepreneur, we are performers. You are inevitably a performer. I personally think we're all the main character and performer of our life. So I know what it's like, though, to be on that stage, whether you're in person or online, and be on that center and have the nerves and move through it. And so I have the tools to support you because I've also had that experience. But also, what I like to say is so much of performance, but also I'm on that journey of removing my blocks. So I'm so passionate about my practice and the therapy and the service I provide because I really believe that we need to go in, we need to go deep. So I do a regression hypnotherapy. So before we get to kind of the reconditioning, through hypnosis and mindset coaching, we have to go back and face our wounds and face our traumas and face our pain. And I'll never say it's easy, but it's cathartic and it's liberating. So I'm a very deep person. We were just saying before, I'm a Scorpio moon. I am deep. I like to go deep. And there's nothing deeper than going into our subconscious minds. But what I say to everybody is we always come out the other side. The only way out is through. The only way out is through. So I share that because I like to say to everybody, really, I am on the journey with you. I am not perfect. I may have different tools or on a different step of the ladder, but I am right here with you every step of the way.
Yeah. I recently found out that buffalo that are wild and existing in the wild go straight towards the storm because they know the shortest amount of time being rained on is to go towards it instead of away from it. Because, storms gather strength and all that sort of stuff. So, I really take that into account. I'm in Florida, Northeast Florida, Jacksonville, Duval. I hate that I did that. Anyways, and I go walking just about every single day. I walk 4 to 8 to 12 miles a day, depending on what part of my cycle I'm in, what sort of personal shit I got going on, and how much work I need to get done because I work more from my phone than I do from my computer. And shout out to anybody else who's like that. And when I'm out there, and I know it's the rain's coming from here or it's coming from there. It's coming from there. I'm like, all right, just go that way, bitch. You bought an umbrella. Let's go. We're far away from home. We can't turn around now. Let's do this. Let's be like the buffalo. And it really does change things because, in business, we spend a lot of time going, oh God, well, is this the right choice? Or what about this? Or what about this? And it's there is no right choice, bitch. There's the choice and then the things that happen.
Yep. 1000%. And you have to learn along the way. And even as a performer, and I was an actor mostly in the theater and on the stage. And so you're figuring it out in the moment. You can practice, you can rehearse, you can train all the things, but that's what I love about live performance, entrepreneurship. You figure it out in the moment and you problem solve. And to do that, kind of what I was saying a little bit before, the kind of thing that brings everyone I work with together is having the confidence and the belief to take those risks. Confidence doesn't mean I feel perfect all the time and I have everything figured out. Confidence really is I trust myself to take the risk and fail or fall and get back up again and learn something along the way. And not from a place of shame or judgment, but of curiosity. Be curious instead of furious at yourself.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's
Yeah.
like the only way out is through. And what I love about hypnotherapy especially is we can do it in a much more rapid way because we're getting answers more quickly because we're going into the subconscious. So it is intense. The therapy I do is very intense, but we're moving through the block quickly, powerfully, understanding it and then releasing it powerfully because again, we're working in the subconscious. So yes, we're in that storm, but like it's fast and it's powerful, and it's liberating and it's all the things. And let's go in and you don't have to do it alone. I say to everybody, it's like we can't do things alone. We all need the mentors. We all need the coach or the therapist or the healer. Like that's part of life. That's part of
Yeah.
life, myself included.
And the mental blocks can be so weird. I just maybe 2 weeks ago with one of my clients, we were talking about what to change the price of her membership for, right? They get a lot of stuff for it. She had launched it at a very, very low price, but it's time to change. And we had both
Mhm.
gotten the same amount per month. We were both like, it's $500 a month. I got that from her spirit team. She got that from her own intuition and her spirit team. And she was like, okay, $500 a month. That sounds right. And I was like, and right now, while you're, launching or, getting ready to change the price, you could put some nice extra money in your pocket by offering a specific, like if they pay up front, they can get this much off. And long story short, she had no problem charging $6,000 for the year, but mentally her mind said $500 a month is too much. But if you do the math, it's not. And so we realized in that moment, she had done so much work on her mindset and her manifestation towards large amounts of money that the smaller amounts of money, after being in a family where parents scrimped and saved, and if you're raised by parents who are always worried about if the lights are going to get shut off or not, you got a lot more blocks to work on than the person who doesn't even know there's a light bill to pay.
Oh, 100%. And it's so interesting, right? How blocks show up and the different kinds of things. And especially with money, when I help many entrepreneurs with, abundance and money, most of our money beliefs are formed by age 5. By age 5. Like it's in the subconscious, it's in the body. It's in the body. And I always say, like, what I love about regression is we're going to find where the story was formed, the story that you're telling yourself, right? That's not really yours. Where did it come from? It can be ancestral. It can be, right in your home growing up. For me, it's been both. It was like in my home, but also very much ancestral. And so, and it's okay if it takes some time. Like I say to people too, we have certain blocks that are just a bit harder. Some people I work with where it's like, career block is really big, or fear of success, or money. Some people it's like relationship. Like we all have different areas where it's almost like a knot in a massage and you just need a bit more time to massage the knot out, right? But it's, and again, to approach it with curiosity, saying, okay, where is this coming from? Whose voice is this? Whose story is this? And doing so much reframing and catching it in the moment. So when that limitation comes up, and just catching it, is this my truth or is this my conditioning? Is this my voice or is this the voice of somebody else? It's always just asking more questions before always finding the answer,
Yeah.
right?
This ancestral, listen, I tell every single client, I tell every single person that's on my TikTok, anybody who will listen, they did a study of mice in a lab. And this first generation of mice, they shocked their little paws while pumping the smell of Japanese cherry blossom into that little room. So the mice associated that smell with pain. And
Mm-hmm.
6 generations after, 6 generations from that lineage of mice who had never once been shocked were afraid of the smell of cherry blossoms.
I think I've heard that before, but I appreciate you saying it again because that I got the truth bumps with that. But it's so true. Like it is so true. I recently received an EFT session, like a deep dive EFT session. And I've had a few, but this one was all about clearing that ancestral line. And I swear it was like I was going back generations and generations and generations and like cutting the cord and for past and future, and you can feel it. Like you can feel it in your cells. It's fascinating, but it's not surprising. Like it's really not surprising.
Like if you're the one who came to break the generational cycles and curses and stuff on your family, when you finally realize, oh, this is what I'm here to do. Oh, I really need to stop talking to certain family members. Oh, I really need to stop living my life like this. The amount of
Yeah.
self-confidence that starts to soar in you because the ties that you had to those people who wanted you to play small, who wanted you to have no boundaries so that they could keep benefiting from your magic. I know that I came from a family of people who refused to let me believe how incredibly magical I am. But they didn't want me to believe it, but they sure wanted to use it. And it would be when I finally started pulling away from them a couple of years ago, they would be like, well, we did this terrible thing to you, but we didn't want to tell you because we didn't want you to freak out. We knew you were going to be mad. We knew you were going to do this. We were just trying to save you from this big emotional thing. And I'm like, you knew I was going to behave like that because what you did was fucked up.
Yeah.
And now that I'm telling you, I'm not going to be around you anymore because you do this, and you're trying to tell me that I'm a terrible person, why do you want me around, right? Like, you just start going
Mhm.
around and round and round in circles with these people, and you realize if this is what it's always going to be, I'm not going to be able to excel and elevate to where I want to be because y'all going to keep pulling me down. It's a lot easier to pull somebody down than it is to pull somebody up.
100%. And let me just say, like, bravo, and I applaud you, because it's not easy to, and there's that moment of loneliness, right? Where
Boy.
and give yourself space to grieve and to mourn, and to have that space in between of the hurt that they caused, but also the bravery, the courage, the confidence, the self-worth, the self-love to say, my mission in this life is so much more powerful. And yes, that in-between moment where it's like, okay, I don't have you anymore and I'm creating this new, and it's scary and lonely and uncomfortable and unfamiliar, but you're doing it. And it's going to get easier. And I'm sure it is getting easier. Right. And just, yeah. So I just want to applaud you for that, because I'm the same way, a cycle breaker. And it's those moments of, but then also, what I love is, like, when you grow in that way, you find your people.
Yeah.
You find your people.
Yeah.
And it's trusting that. And I was saying to you before too, it can be all over the world in this day and age with, the internet. I'm like, I found my person. Some of them are in different continents, but I still
Mhm.
found them.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really incredible. And I tell people too, because I've worked with hundreds of female founders. And I've
Mm,
encountered thousands of them. And in my work, what I've noticed is that we have our love relationship, we have our family of origin. So your parents, your siblings, grandparents, all that. And then you have your friends and the family that you create, right? So those are the three relationship areas that every single person has. And if you are doing really, really well, if you're good in two of those three areas, I have never met somebody who is good in all three. And I have met some people who are only good in one, but I've never met anybody who didn't have at least one relationship in one of those three areas that was helpful and great and servicing them. And I've never met anybody who had a great family of origin, great friends, and a great love life. I just don't think that you get all three. And I think that we learn our major lessons from at least one of those areas. So, for example, I got married to my husband when I was 20 years old. We've been married almost 19 years this year. And I'm the only person in my family that has only been married once. Both of my parents had been married once when they met, twice to each, or, they got married to each other. They broke up. My dad got remarried, so he's been married 3 times. Then they got back together after being divorced for, I don't know, 10 years or some shit. I can't do the math on it anymore. And my sibling as well has been married 2 times. But when I met my husband and we were dating and we decided to get married, my dad talked shit to my mom. They weren't even together. And he said, don't worry, he won't be around for long. Oh, isn't that funny that I'm the one in the family that's only been married one time and has a fantastic partner who loves and supports me and has helped me flourish into the person I'm meant to be. And all you motherfuckers are talking shit. And so it's really funny too, because the more that you start to learn, especially in therapy, especially in the subconscious, the more that you start to learn about deflection and about how
mm-hmm.
we are always what's the word? It's an easy word. We learn about projection. I won't make fun of a single person or talk shit to a single person, because if I make fun of your shoes, I know that means I don't feel good about mine.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. It's amazing, again, when you're on the healing journey. You've been in and I'm a fan of all therapy, like any kind of, you find a therapy in the modality that works for you. I've been in all the kinds of therapies, and when you realize how much people are projecting, you also just learn to not take things personally, right? Because you're like,
Nothing.
this is not about me, like this is your wound and your trauma. And I think before, in my past, in my 20s, I would have like judged and been like, you need it. Now I'm like, this is your journey. I'm going to stick to mine. I'm going to focus on my lane and my thing, and send love, because everyone has a different rhythm and pattern, and maybe they have to learn certain things in this life. Maybe it's in the next life, and that's not my place to tell them.
Yeah.
I say to, even in my practice, like, you'll know when you're ready to come to me and to work
Yep.
on these. It's a deep therapy. Like I said, it's hypnotherapy, regression. We're going in. I can't force you to be ready.
Yeah.
You have to be the willing one. Like I say to all my clients, we're a team. Yes, I'm guiding you, but you have to say, yes, I am willing. I am open. I am dedicating to the process. Let's go. And we have to also decide, yeah, we have to be the ones to decide that we're ready. And so,
Absolutely.
also as an entrepreneur, I can say, this is what I offer and this is what I do. That's so much of how I share, is like, this is what I can give you. When you're ready, I'm here.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, let's dive into some of these questions because I know your answers are
Yeah,
going to be
love
in.
it.
Oh, so first
Love it.
question. Your industry is evolving so fast. So what's one way that you've had to pivot or adapt in the last year to keep growing?
Ooh, that's a
They're
great
good
question.
questions, so you can take your
Yeah,
time. They're good.
that's a good question. I would say I'm always looking for new ways to share what I do, whether it's through collaborations, through different platforms, I also have the uh, joy that I work online, so I can travel a lot. So I tend to travel a lot, both because I personally love it, but professionally. So that's also where I'm like, I intend to make connections all around the world and collaborations all around the world. So I would say just to constant reinvention, constant, never limiting yourself, like always thinking outside the box. And taking risks. I think it's always about, there's so many people, as you said, like in this industry, and what I always come back to is nobody is me. Nobody is
Yep.
me. And so part of it is, yes, putting myself out there, but continuing to work on myself,
Yeah.
continuing to master my voice and find my voice and how to express it. When my own fears or blocks or limitations come up, continue to do the different modalities to work on myself. I think every day to approach it as, how can I grow more, learn more, take more risks, but just the constant reinvention, I would say. Constant reinvention.
Absolutely. There's this saying that always rings in my head, which is if you're worried about the price of starting, take a look at the cost of staying exactly where you are.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. I had someone recently say to me, though, they're like, oh, but you're an Aries. Like, you're just used to, taking risks and being brave. I'm like, maybe it is, but I do have this mentality of like, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's try this. I may fall on my face. I may fail. I don't care, because I know I'm just learning and experiencing. And that's, for me, that's the point, is to actually experience this thing called life. And nothing will make you experience life more than being an entrepreneur. I really believe it makes you, I think, especially a service, my experience, a service-based entrepreneur, where you're constantly, like, for me, it's vulnerable, it's sharing so much, it's how to express yourself and communicate and share your own story and help others, and this balance. Like, I've never felt more alive and experienced every part of being human than being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked ChatGPT a couple months ago now. I was like, what's one area that I could really, benefit from improving that I'm probably not seeing that you see? And he called me out and he was like, you really help people with their most vulnerable thoughts and moments, yet you don't share anything vulnerable online. I was like, oh, sir, can you hold my hand when you tell me that next time? Jeez Louise. So I've tried to be more, upfront and on, but like I don't share a lot about my personal life online just because I wouldn't be on TikTok and Instagram and all these things if I didn't have a business that required me to do it. I don't even have access to my original Facebook account that was like my personal one. Do you know what happened actually a couple years ago on TikTok? I found out how you can download all your information from Facebook to your computer, and I kid you not, I downloaded all the information from my Facebook onto my computer and I got locked out of my Facebook account from then on out, and I've never been able to get back in. So I have all the info. I have all my pictures and everything, but I don't have access to the account, and I don't even
Yeah,
use Facebook for business. Like, you have to have a Facebook attached to your Instagram because that's what the overlords tell you to do. But I'm not over there
yeah,
because I think Facebook is just like the fluorescent lit doctor's office waiting room of social media. I'd rather be on LinkedIn, and everybody who knows me knows that I hate that. So it's important too when you think about keeping up with the evolution of your industry and staying on top and whatnot. If you're not rolling with the punches, if you're not jumping off the high dive and knowing that there's water in the pool, I just wrote this down the other day that fortune favors the brave.
Mhm.
And if you know that, and if we just think about all these stories that we've heard over the years of, 200 years ago, an immigrant arrived and they had $2 in their pocket and then they started one of the most incredible businesses known to man. That's because fortune favors the brave. Take the fucking jump. And really, the only failure is giving up.
Yeah,
Everything
100%.
else is experience.
100%. Exactly. And also get the help along the way. Like I
Yeah.
remember when I first started, I had such a visibility block, which is funny because I used to be a performer, but I had a block in being visible online. Live on a stage, no problem. I'm good. But online, I had such a block. And so I worked through it. I worked through my blocks and I used hypnosis and I used all these tools. Um, and also the thing about vulnerability, I'll say, I've learned that you can still have boundaries. I
Oh,
can
yeah.
share experiences without sharing every detail. I don't need to share every detail of things. Like that's my business and that's okay. I can share what I tend to share is my process of things or the process, the experience, the journey rather than the specific details. I'm like that's not your business.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, now I'm going to ask you my favorite question that I ask everybody, and I'm going to try and keep my emotions in check because our internet is starting to waver on me because I got so excited. Okay, all right.
All
What inspired you
good.
to start your business, and how has that initial vision evolved over time?
mm. I love this question. And I'm going to explain it in a way. It's interesting. I always knew I was a healer. I I needed to go on my journey to understand that. So I have a long history of mental health issues from like 11 years old, like chronic severe depression, young age. And I can say this now because I really have worked through it. I survived a suicide attempt at 16. Like a good decade and a half of my life was really hard. And I went through a ton of therapy and ton of healing. And I always knew in my gut that I went through so much to learn things, to heal things, to help others along their journey. But then, life takes all the different flows and turns, and I got into performing and acting. But in my gut, I wasn't fully satisfied. And I knew I am meant to heal in some way. I didn't know the modality, I didn't know the form. And I just let life guide me. Long story short, life guided me to hypnotherapy, to receiving a session, going so deep, having such a profound experience, and it was a full body, oh, this is the modality for me. So everything happened very, I won't say easily, but effortlessly, of going to school for it, training in it, flowing, starting a business, and then from there, how it's really evolved. I love going deep with people, but I have this passion about performance because I used to be a performer. So that evolved to like, wait a second, I can go deep with people and I can also bring in my passion of performing and helping performers who deal with so many deep subconscious blocks. So much of performance coaching or mindset coaching for athletes, artists are about that conscious, like, okay, just get into a certain mindset or whatever. But it's like, I know the deeper traumas and wounds below the surface. So I get to bring all these different parts of my passions together of helping people really heal their deep wounds and trauma in a very like regression hypnotherapy subconscious, and then also help them get in that embodiment of the performance that they want to have. So it's evolved a lot over the years, but really what inspired me was just my passion for wellness, my passion for healing, my passion for mental health, my passion for helping people, and doing it in a really deep, deep way. And my passion for letting us feel our emotions. Like to me, the point of life is to be alive, and being alive is to feel it all and to allow ourselves to feel it all. So that was my big inspiration of just I want to help, I want to serve, I want to help people heal and feel. As cliche as it might sound, it's like you got to feel to heal.
Yeah. You know, we go through what we need to go through in our younger years to grow us into who we have to be. And my clients always tell me, because I talk to my clients well after we're done working together, whether it's a 6-week program, whether it's at the Neurospicy Academy, whether it's my 6-month program, I'm going to be connected to your guides until you tell me to stop or until I tell them to stop. So I message old clients all the time, and they all marvel about the fact that in the beginning, when you're working with me, they all are like, well, I don't want to unload all this on you. And I don't want to tell you all this. And I'm like, let me explain to you that we are going to go into, you're like one of those out of control young buck horses that needs to be taught what the fuck to do and how to behave. And I am the person that is the cowboy to take you into the corral, let you run it out, let you figure your shit out, let you tucker yourself out, let you unload all this shit on me, and we're going to leave it in the corral. And when you're done, I'm not going to take it with me. I'm going to help you process it. I'm going to help you shoulder it. I'm going to help you really look at it from a perspective of curiosity, not criticism. And you're going to be able to leave and go forward and integrate what we've talked about because we've now made room for it. And that's also the reason why I don't do group coaching anymore. I only do one-on-one, because the shit that we talk about, nobody wants to talk about in front of other people. And if they're not going to, as Aquarius moon, I want to hear all the weird stuff. So let's be alone. Please tell me when you're going to feel your best. Please tell me. And this is why I also let my clients reschedule even up until 5 minutes after we're supposed to do our call. If you can't give me your best, and if you have another appointment, or like I have a rule that if you have a therapy appointment after me, we can't, no. You have to be able to get to work after our calls because you're going to be motivated and invigorated and ready to go. So we will move the call around 10 times sometimes before we get the right moment. And every time that we reschedule and we actually hook up, it makes sense why we had to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. It's so true. It's so true. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Next question. What? Oh, let's talk about this because you mentioned it. You had a block to visibility. What is your current approach to visibility and building your brand? And do you feel like it's working the way that you want it to?
That's a great question. Yes and no. Well, I don't know, yes and no. I think I'm of this mindset of I keep discovering along the way, and sometimes things show up in ways that I don't expect. So I've learned to practice patience, which is again, as an Aries, not always the easiest thing for me, but I've learned to practice patience. And I think also visibility is a few things. In the beginning, I think I was so disconnected from my voice and from me expressing it that I felt like, oh, I have to sound like this person or write like this person or do it in this way. And again, through my own therapy that I've received from colleagues, it's really helped me connect back to my voice and my expression and owning it. And even if I'm told it's not the way you're supposed to do business, I say, I don't care. You know, I like to talk. So maybe my videos are longer, but like I have a lot to say and my people are going to watch if they're my people. If they're not, they're not. And that's okay. And to keep exploring different ways of, you know, I get to make videos. I recently started a YouTube channel because I had wanted to, but I had this idea that I had to be perfect or I had to edit it perfectly. And I just said, F it, you know, like I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. Even the way I want to write, I get to write the way I want to write. Maybe it's long, but again, it's the way I express myself. So I think visibility so much for me was about owning my voice, my expression, my unique perspective, and that it's enough. And that I get to talk about multiple things, you know, that I'm multifaceted and that I allow myself to talk about multiple things. So I can talk about athletes and sports, and then I can talk about, I help so many people overcome sexual blocks and blocks to their pleasure. So I can talk about sports, I can talk about sex, I can talk about performance, I can talk about, you know, all the different things and everything in between because it's all connected. And so just owning that I get to be it all because I am it all.
Yeah. I always tell people when they think about, I need to niche down, or here's the thing. If I'm scrolling on TikTok and I see a video from somebody who I've never seen before, I'm going to go straight to their page. I'm going to read their 80 character bio. And if that bio says, I don't need a niche, I am the niche, I'm out of there. I don't care. I don't think you understand what we're doing here, because you don't need to niche down, but you do need to know exactly who you're talking to. So in the same sense that you can talk to one particular person about all these different topics, it's because that is what is important to get their goal. I am only speaking to high masking, high achieving, high performers, over givers, the women who were conditioned to self-abandon and then wonder why they're so fucking resentful of their family and their friends, and they're not getting where they want to go, and they feel like they're just on the hamster wheel and they're doing all the busy work. I have a client right now who has 9 employees, and she's still doing some of the little stupid work. Well, not stupid, but lack of a better word, some of the little minutia that she hired people to do. And for that, we've got to shift. It's an identity level shift. I actually commented this on somebody's TikTok the other day. They were like, put down what's really, really helped you in the past 5 years or something. And I said, instead of manifesting by trying to attract what you want, change your identity to the person who has it. And I have like 10 people that have commented, how do I do that? And I'm just like, if you don't know how to click on my page, click on my face and go to my page, honey, I can't help you. You're not there yet.
But it's so true. And that's what I think people don't realize. It's like, it's the identity level. It's a cellular level. It's a subconscious level. And so people say all the time, and I know because I've been on this journey. I've literally, when I've manifested things in my life or my business over the past few years, it's because I changed first. And I know when I'm in or out of the flow. I know when I'm forcing and trying to, attract and push. And then I say, okay, Emma, that's not working. That's when I pause. That's when I receive. That's when I shift and heal things on the identity level. Because you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. And I say to people, you're not going to create a new life, a new chapter from an old way of being. And the old way of being is in the subconscious, is in the body. And so people say, okay, I just want to think forward, go forward. I don't think about the past. I'm sorry, you have to go back to the past. There's no other way around it to truly clear it out, to understand the blocks, to then move forward. Of course, we want to move forward, but we have to go back first. Yeah. Even the athletes I work with, they're the ones who say, oh my God, I'm also having problems in sex. And that's why I know I can talk to multiple people, or I'm also having a problem with anxiety, or I'm also having a problem with believing in myself in this new identity. It's like, oh, let's go back to the trauma that you don't realize is in your body, that is showing up when you're having an adult temper tantrum on court, is what I call it. When you don't know how to process your emotions because you never had a chance to. So it's people say, how do I do this? It's like, to change your identity, you have to go be with yourself and meet every part of yourself. To create the new, you have to go back and clear out the old.
And if you think about it too, because I see this in every person that I work with, I'm sure you do too. There are signs from the universe that are visible in your life about what part of the journey you're on. For example, you have to become isolated and you have to go into hermit mode. It's a different amount of time for everybody, but you cannot level up and climb that ladder that you mentioned. You can't climb that ladder if you're dragging people with you. And so the easier that you let people go, you stop fighting for people to be in your life. You stop fighting for people to understand you. You stop fighting to get your approval from other people, right? You have to get all of that from within. And you have to understand that in the past, as high masking, neurodivergent women who did not know that that's what we were. And if you ever described yourself as the chameleon in high school that just fit in with everybody, that's because you changed yourself based on what you thought other people wanted you to do. And that's called masking. And that means that you are running 15 different apps in the back of your head and killing your battery every single day. And of course you're exhausted by the end of the night. And of course you're not going to be able to show up online the way that you want to and impact the people that you're meant to impact. And the scary thing is, when you really accept yourself and you become magnetic, that means you're going to repel people. And when some people feel that repulsion, they're going to let you know. And then if you're not strong with who you are, you're going to be like, oh God, I did something wrong. No, you didn't. You actually did the best thing you could do, because you made somebody be a hater and a troll on your platform, which shows you, hey, I leveled up. I just quantum leaped into a higher timeline. I took such a strong position with my opinion that it pissed off somebody who thinks that I don't have the right to have that opinion. So That's actually a win. And we teach people that at the Neurospicy Academy. Haters are a win, right? Trolls are a win. And it's hard to really embrace that sometimes. But again, if you don't know who your people are, instead of trying to go find your people, figure out who you are and start broadcasting that clearly.
Yes. Yes, I love everything you just said so much because that was me. I was that chameleon. I was that one masking. I was that people pleaser. I remember in my 20s, uh, my roommate came into the room after I'd just been with a friend, and she looked at me the next day and she said, Emma, I've never seen you so exhausted because I had this mask on and I just couldn't do it anymore. It was like I was so burnt out. And that moment was such a turning point for me. I'm like, oh, I have to cut some people. Like, this isn't working anymore. And I was actually training at the time in the modality I do. So I was going through so much and so much transformation. And I moved countries and I let so many people go because I had to. It wasn't in alignment anymore, and that wasn't me anymore. And again, this moment of it can be lonely, you
Oh, yeah.
know, and so true about when you start to show up as yourself, it is going to repel people. And people from your past aren't going to like it, and it's
Yeah.
going to threaten them. And it goes back to having that sense of self that is so strong that you seek your own approval. And it's a journey. I remember in the beginning, I was still like, oh my God, what do you think of me? Do you approve of me still? And I look back on that with love, right? That was the
Yeah.
journey. But now to say, oh, I love myself so much. I am so in my power, and I know that what I offer is so good and so incredible, and I help people that even if that voice wants to come in every now and again, because that happens, it's like, oh no, that doesn't matter now because I know me. And I have a
Yeah.
much bigger vision than these people who were in my past or who wanted to pull me down. And it's such a beautiful moment when it just hits you, right? When you realize, oh, I love myself here. Oh my God, I don't care about what that person thinks that used to. It's so, and we have to recognize that. I say to people, like, we need to celebrate these moments. It's not
Yeah.
small. When you really feel that self-love and that self-approval, that self-worth, that's everything. It's
Yeah.
everything.
Internal validation is like my favorite vibe ever. Just, it doesn't matter what anybody says to me about any single part of me. And what's funny is I had platinum blonde hair my entire adult life, right? So I was a blonde kid. I hit puberty. My hair turned dark. My mom said that's not going to work for me and started highlighting my hair and bleaching my hair. And then that's how I learned about going to salons and whatnot. I've always been high maintenance. Thank you very much. But when I dyed my hair pink in 2020, when I was blonde, every person that met me assumed I was an idiot. It was very rare for somebody to meet me and not think I was stupid. Is it the blonde? I don't know. Is it my energy? I don't know. But I got really used to that. And I preferred that because if somebody thinks
Yeah.
you're stupid and then you wow them with how smart you are, that's a better angle than them assuming you're a genius and then you say something stupid and now what? But when I dyed my hair pink, the shift in the way people perceived me was so palpable and was so unexpected because when somebody with visible tattoos and pink and purple hair and a face full of makeup walks into a room, she knows who she is. She's not trying to find herself. She's not trying to fit
Yeah.
in anywhere. She's not trying to please anybody but herself. And the way that people react to me from the moment I dyed my hair pink was so remarkable that I was like, "Oh, this is who I am. This is who I've been waiting for to show up to
Yeah.
the party. Like this is what's what." And what's so funny is my friends that I still have that I've had since my blonde years, my one in particular, I look at her picture every single day. Alex, hey girl. Um, she came to my house maybe a year or so ago and we were hanging out for my birthday and she's just sitting across from me and looking at me and I was like, "What?" And she goes, "It just looks natural. Like it just looks like it should have always been that." And I was like, "Thank you. I do feel that way too. Like it doesn't feel like I have a crazy hair color anymore." But I walked into a place with my husband
Yeah.
yesterday, into a
Yeah.
restaurant, and everybody was staring at me and I was like, I must be on a real high vibe day because every time I looked around, I caught everybody's eyes. I was like, "Ah, hi guys, what's up? Hi. Hello." But it's like going somewhere with a spotlight on you and you're like, "Oh shit, I forget. I forget people
Yep.
ain't used to this." So, really stepping out of the box, like you said before, and really being okay to like figure out what the reinvention looks like and understanding too. Somebody said this years ago
Mhm.
and it made so much sense to me. The transition is an entity. Like you're never in between identities. Even if you look back, like you may feel like, okay, I'm in between here and here right now. But when you look back 3 years from now, you remember exactly who you were. You were a whole ass person when you were in between or in transition. So allow yourself to, like you said, slow down and be with her. You're never going to have this version of you ever again.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Also, let me just say, your pink like it really actually feel, I know we're like just meeting, but like your pink feels so natural. Like it's just you. Like it really feels that way.
Yeah. It's it's a good thing. It's high maintenance and I don't recommend it to everybody. You have to really be willing to put 6 hours of work in every 3 weeks if this is what you want. But if this is who you are, the way that you're received really makes
Mm-hmm.
it worth it. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember too, when I first started getting tattoos, I was 18 and I'm a
Mm-hmm.
millennial, so it was different back then. And I remember
Yeah.
my first two tattoos that I got one, I got a tramp stamp. Yes, I have a tramp stamp. And I got a back neck tattoo. And I remember my rule for getting tattoos was it has to be coverable by an evening gown because I don't know why the fucking 18-year-old thinks that she's going to be wearing an evening gown at all times. But I always had this thought in my brain that like, well, what if I have to go to court or what if I have to go somewhere fancy or what if I have to do this? I can't have visible tattoos. And now that I have visible tattoos, I'm fixing to get a whole freaking sleeve here to cover up
Yeah.
these guys because I freaking hate them. I am more myself than I ever have been.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's such a beautiful journey. Like even what you're saying,
Yeah.
like the transition, we get to fall in love with the journey. And to love every version of ourselves along the way, because they
Yeah.
really were doing the best they could at the time, with the resources they had.
Yeah.
I don't blame or shame my past versions now. I give them so much love.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you did that.
Yeah.
You survived that. You moved through that. Thank you, because that's brought me to where I am now, of fully
Yeah.
owning my power and self and voice. But I couldn't have done that without the journey. Without the journey. We
Absolutely.
always want to
It's
skip
like
the steps, right? And it's like, go
a
ahead.
baby takes 10 months. A baby takes 10 months. So your manifestation needs a gestation period. And if you can finally shift into understanding that the universe isn't making you wait for it, the universe is preparing you for it.
Yes. Oh, and I've learned that in my business, especially things I were calling in that if I had gotten them too soon, I wouldn't have been prepared. I wouldn't have been ready. My nervous system wouldn't have been able to handle it. So I know
Yeah.
that now, and even next levels I'm calling in, I also know every step of the way is preparing me for that. And so I get to fall in love with every step of the way. And I know and so when they start to show up, I'm like, oh, of course, oh, of course, of course.
Yeah. Such a good attitude. All right, let's talk about this because you're a mindset coach. I'm a mindset coach. Let's get into it. What is a mindset shift that you had to make to step into the level of success that you have now? And is there a shift that you feel like you might still need to make?
Hmm. Kind of the same thing, actually, knowing that it's all me,
Yeah.
in the sense that it's easy to blame things on the outside. I can blame, I don't know, from the algorithm to my whatever it may be. I can blame things on the outside. It's all me. It's all me. I can be my worst enemy, my greatest ally. That's something I had to learn really early on, and it's something I'm continuing to. Moments I can fall into victim mode. I don't nearly as much because I understand it now and I can catch and say, oh, no, no, Emma, it's you. You can change this every moment. And I think often we fall into an all or nothing mentality. That happens with my clients a lot. And that's another thing I've overcome. Even for a day, being like, oh, I feel really tired today. Oh, this day's gone. It's a bad day. It's like, no, every hour we can reinvent. Every hour I can do a quick visualization. Every hour I can get up and shake if I need to shake that moment off and come back and come back and come back. I may have to do it 1,000 times one day and one time another day if I'm really in flow, but it's all me. It's
Yeah.
all me. And with that, there's such a power. It's like, oh, I don't have to blame anyone outside of me because I control me. And thank God, I can't control most things in the world. And we all want to. I still can want to sometimes. But it's so much more liberating and exciting when it's like, that doesn't matter because it's me.
Yep.
I can respond in a different way. I can pause. I can pause. I can respond. So yeah, that's been my biggest shift, mindset shift, and that I continue to do for sure.
Absolutely. I always, growing up, I played many, many sports, soccer, softball, all that shit.
Mm.
But the two that I
Yeah.
really stuck to were tennis and golf. And when I reflect on that, I go, oh, because those are the ones where it's just you against you. It's just you against the court. It's just you against the golf course. Even if you're on
Yep.
a team, right? Well, what I played one person in tennis, right? I didn't do doubles. And if you played somebody that's better than you play better. If you play somebody that's worse than you play worse. And I have taken that theme into my life and into my business to make sure that
Yes.
the only people that I have around me by choice, which means that it's a tiny, tiny pool of people that I ever spend any time with, they make me
Mhm.
better. I go on a walk with two different girls. We go
Yes.
as often as we can, but it's usually only about once a month. But I walk on my own all the time. But when I'm with them afterwards, I'm charged up. I'm ready to go. And all these other people that I
Yep.
simply just won't talk to anymore, I'd rather be alone. It's because they make me play worse.
I can I just say I love that you say this so much that literally I feel very similar. So I grew up playing sports, and the reason why I was drawn to solo sports is because of that. And even the athletes I work with, I mean, all sports, but the most has been tennis and golf. Tennis the most, because it's all you out there. And I
Yep.
love that to help them because it's a whole different level of challenge. But it's exactly that. My whole life, even when I was an actor, if I was had a scene partner who was just, wasn't as good, it's like, oh, that brought my level down. When I had someone who was challenging me, who was better than me, that brought me up so much. And I've learned that in business. I've learned the hard way when I surrounded myself with people who brought me down. And I now have learned that lesson. I would rather be alone and be patient to wait for the right people. And in the past year or so, I've done that where I've had to let certain things go, certain people go, be in that aloneness. And in the last couple of months, start to call and be like, oh, now we're going to collaborate. Oh, now we're going to be in each other's orbit and lift each other up. And you're here. Not to, I don't like to do it, but like, yeah, you just have more experience. You are up here and you're making me better. So I
Yeah.
so relate to that. I so relate to that.
I think it's also important to think about what's important to you in the sense of where you are on somebody's priority list. And I'll use an example. A couple of years ago, when I was still friends with the evil girls, um, it was like three of them and me. And they were all single, a little bit younger than me, not a lot, but a little bit younger than me, and none of them had kids. So obviously it was a very different dynamic. But towards the end of our relationship together, I would find out that the three of them had gone somewhere and they hadn't even invited me. And you start to like, they all would like look at each other and you could tell something was happening and they were like, should we tell her, la 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 la. And I would get really pissed. I'd be like, what? And they're like, well, it was 9 o'clock at night, we knew you wouldn't go. And I'm like, but everybody still wants to be invited, right? And so if they would invite me last minute, I'd be like, well, I don't know, da 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 da. But the two friends that I have now that are totally different people, they don't even know each other and whatnot, they can text me and say, can we go for a walk tomorrow? Are you free? And I know that that is not them waiting till the last minute to do that. Bitch, we're busy. And I have 2 hours on Tuesday morning that I can come hang out. We could go get coffee. You want to go do it? And I'm like, yes, they're choosing me. Something came up on my schedule. I have
Yeah.
free time. Can you do it? So you've really got to be mindful of where are you on somebody's priority list. And I'm okay to be 10th on your priority list if the top 9 things are shit that are making you better.
Exactly. Oh my God. Thank you for saying that. Yes. And that's a real friend. Like I want that what's best for you and I want you to choose you. I want you to choose you, and I know you, and as I said, when you have time and like, I know you love me. And if that moment, thank you for thinking of me when you had that moment, like
Yeah,
it's beautiful. But yes, I so, so, so agree. Like I want to surround myself with people who have that level of self-love and honesty and know themselves and
absolutely.
put themselves first. Yeah.
Absolutely. Plus, you have better conversations with people that are also on their journey than with people who are, I've really found a lot of people that say they're on a healing journey, but are really, really committed to their negative mindset, and people who are really, really committed to their struggle. And if you think about it, there's somebody who talks about it. I don't know if it's Dr. Gabor Mate or if it's Dr. Amen, but it's one of those guys. And they talk about a lot of people are really, or maybe it's Dr. Joe Dispenza. I think it's him. He talks about how people have really worked hard for the tragedy in their life, and they've really worked hard for the struggle in their life, and they've worked hard to have their traumas, and they're not willing
Mhm.
to let go of that, because then what's their identity?
1000%. This is what I say to people all the time. And I actually, you're inspiring me to talk more about this because I, because I want to point it out to people because I can get frustrated where I'm like, you're addicted to being a victim. And I've been there, so I get it. You're addicted to being a victim. You're addicted to your identity. I was the depressed girl for so many years. I had to finally say, wait, I don't want to be that. I actually do want to heal and to go on that journey. But people are so addicted to their trauma, to their wounds, to those limitations because it's giving them something. It's giving them a gain. And they have to be the ones to say, do I want to live this way for the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years? I can't force you to change, but I want to tell you, I want to invite you and to say there's another way. There's another way to get attention, to give yourself attention. You don't need to be in that addiction, but we have emotional addictions. We have emotional addictions. And again, I can tell you, hey, I have a great modality to support you moving through it, but you have to be the one to say, I don't want to be in this anymore. I
Yeah.
don't want to be in this anymore.
It's also why you have to leave certain people in the past, because here's how it shows up for a lot of people. And I noticed this the other day, and I like wrote it down because I was like, bitch, that you're going to be talking about this. When you spend time with people who, whether it's a small group or a large group, and one person says, oh yeah, well, my birthing experience when I had my kid, it was terrible, and they start running themselves through all of the bad things that happened, because they're getting a huge dopamine hit, whether they know that or not, from recalling that terrible story. And then that just starts everybody recalling their terrible birth story. And I'll literally just, oh my God, my internet went down, I don't even know what happened. Get the fuck out of there. And it's one of the reasons why you have to let go of people from your past that only want to talk about who you used to be, because they get a dopamine hit from it, because they had control over that version of you, and because secretly they
Yep.
want you to go back to that version. So if you're sitting around a bunch of
Yep.
people that are bitching and moaning, you got to get out of there. It's contagious.
1000%. I remember when I started my business and I had so many people from my past telling me what to do or how to do it and you shouldn't do, and I'm like, oh, you are trying to keep me in this old version of myself. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to keep your awareness
Yeah.
up, and you really have to. One of the biggest shifts that I did that has made the biggest difference in my life and business, just period, is I give myself the benefit of the doubt and no one else.
Mm.
If you say something to me in real life or online, it doesn't matter. I would rather take it the wrong way and think that what you're doing is malicious and find out that it wasn't, than give you some credit that you don't deserve and say they probably didn't mean it like that, and then find out I was wrong.
I love that. I'm going to take that.
The
That's
only person
so
that gets the
good.
benefit of the doubt is you. Everybody else, just assume that they're not at your level yet. It could not even be innocuous. It could not even be evil or whatever it is. But sometimes it is. And understanding that, like, especially you with a background in therapy, the number of people that are actual sociopaths or actual psychopaths or anything like that, the numbers that we have are pretty shocking, but that's only from what's reported. A lot of people are running around here and don't even know that that's what they are. A lot of people don't. I mean, a lot of people don't do an honest report. So, and plus, when it comes to like traditional CBT therapy and whatnot, and when it comes to the DSM, that's all rooted in how closely you can behave like a cishet white dude.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's not my aesthetic. That's not what I'm going for. So really
Mhm.
understand. And also, you know, as much as I do, I'm sure, that identifying with your diagnosis keeps you stuck in a box and keeps you
One.
from moving into the direction that you want to. And I'm a bitch. I've got PMDD, PCOS, endometriosis, perimenopause, mast cell activation syndrome, POTS, Ehlers-Danlos, ADHD, PDA, autism, dyslexia, like, bitch, my list is long. But that just means I'm focused on the symptoms that I want to change.
Yes. I love that. I love that. I love your perspective because you're
Yeah.
exactly, it's separating yourself from and words are powerful, right? The identity, the title, the diagnosis, and saying, wait, that's not who I am. That's something I'm experiencing.
Yep.
It's not who I am. It's something I'm experiencing. But
Yep.
again, like I was saying before, I had that identity of the depressed girl and I played into that. And I got things from it. There was a gain, like totally. My family treated me a certain way. I got certain things, and I had to get to a point where I had to call myself out.
Yeah.
I had to call myself out. And it's not easy because, you're changing a whole identity, but again, it's my life was worth it. My
Yeah.
happiness was worth it.
It
My
really
my,
is.
yeah, it really, really is. So as much as, we need to go to therapists, coaches, mentors, healers, all of it, you are your greatest advocate. You are your greatest healer. You are your greatest love. Like, I say to everybody, like, you are the one with yourself from the moment you're born to the moment you die. Like, you know yourself best if you're willing to be that honest,
Yeah.
that intimate with yourself, that vulnerable with yourself, calling yourself out on your own bullshit, which is not easy, but that's
Yeah.
also a level of self-love.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
not
What
easy,
a
but
great
it's worth it.
what a great place to end it. I knew this was going to be a fantastic episode, and I was right. So, with all of these fabulous insights, please just share with everybody where they can find you online and how they can work with you. And if you are a visual learner like myself, all of this information will be in the show notes.
Yes, amazing, amazing. So on Instagram, everything is Emma Heywood Hypnosis. And I always say Heywood is Hey, like hey, not like hey. People tend to spell it wrong, so it's Hey. And my website is emmaheywoodhypnosis.com. And on the website, you can either book, I have a 30-minute free connection call where I can share different packages I have. I have the more regression hypnotherapy. I have more just kind of mindset coaching. I can make you just hypnosis recordings. I have a lot of different flavors and tools for you. So you can book a free call there, or you also can, if you've never tried hypnosis, I have a free abundance hypnosis recording. I highly recommend downloading it and listening to it for at least 21 days because your mind learns through repetition. So free hypnosis, free abundance hypnosis. So you can go to my website to get that. My Instagram is at Emma Heywood Hypnosis. So yeah, message me. You can book a call, try my free recording, and yeah, get a little flavor of my hypnosis.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. What a
Thank
fantastic episode. And to all of my friends who are watching and or listening, I love you all equally and for different reasons. Take the best care of yourself that you possibly can in this moment. And I will see you again next time. Okay, bye.